Hey guys, good evening everybody. Welcome back to the channel United Red Devils 20 on YouTube. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday evening. Hope you had a good day. Hope you had a good week. And I hope you're all looking forward to another brand new weekend in August 2024 this year. First of all, do me a massive favour for me. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. United Red Devils 20. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always put the notification bell on at all times so you receive dedicated upcoming brand new content of videos, shorts and live streams we have got planned for the rest of this year in 2024. We've got the latest news and transfer news covering right till the end of the current transfer window. We've got Grand Theft Auto 5. We've got Premier League previews. We've got Premier League match reactions. We've got Spyro. We've got Ratchet and Clank. We've got Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 4 and much more brand new stuff. So please subscribe to the channel if you are new. And it's full time at Old Trafford this on Friday evening for the start of the new season. Manchester United won, Fulham 0. But was Erik ten Hag telling the truth? I think we've got to be honest here. Manchester United have got bloody lucky again. Again, this season's start has been nothing more than massively lethargic. Like, you look at that performance and you look at the energy levels and you look at the charisma of some of those attitudes of those players going forward tonight. I'm sorry, but United have scraped by again with, again, a debut goal through Joshua ZIRKZEE, which again was a masterclass of a substitution by Erik ten Hag. But Manchester United, if Erik ten Hag is right, it's going to be a very long season. And we're going to go back to the comments that he made yesterday, or was it Wednesday, that Manchester United are not ready for the new season. And based on that tonight, even though we've won, it's 3 points. We're top of the Premier League, and it's a good start to the season. And Manchester United's good start to the season record keeps on going. I think Erik ten Hag was right. I think Manchester United are nowhere near ready for this Premier League season. I think the energy levels are on the floor. I look at the lack of midfield organisation we've currently got. I look at the lack of attacking options going forward again tonight. And I look at, again, the defence. Like, I could not understand why Erik ten Hag team selection. I'm struggling to understand where we've spent good money on Joshua ZIRKZEE. We've spent good money on DALOT. And they're nowhere near the starting 11 for Manchester United tonight. And I honestly expected DALOT and Joshua ZIRKZEE to both start for Manchester United this evening. And I think that was technically... I think tactically, Erik ten Hag got that completely wrong. Like, I was fully expecting them both to start for Manchester United tonight. But apparently, Joshua ZIRKZEE, again, his levels are nowhere near ready to start a game yet. DALOT hasn't really had enough preparation or enough training with the current Manchester United first team to be considered a starter. And we're back to the good old days of Maguire next to Martinez, and we're playing Diego Dalot at left back. And then he switches with Mazraoui in some of the stages of the second half. And again, that is a concern that we are putting players again at a position just for Manchester United to get by. And I think, you know, to be fair, if there's a standout player from tonight, it has to be Mazraoui. Like, for me, he does get my player of the match. I mean, he's not had long with Manchester United, and it was his debut tonight. And I thought he was absolutely solid. And I did say, he is a massive upgrade on the right-back options we've got. He ain't just a massive upgrade on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but he's a massive upgrade on Diego Dalot. Like, I think Manchester United defensively would be a lot better shifting Dalot out, as well as obviously getting rid of Wan-Bissaka. I think it's an absolute masterstroke of a signing. I thought defensively, he was very solid. And I think going forward as well, Mazraoui can create a threat. I do not think he put a step out of the wrong tonight. I honestly do think Mazraoui is the player of the match. I just don't think he put a foot wrong. And I think for me, really, he was Manchester United's standout player. And, you know, again, you don't really expect that from the back four. You would have really gone one of the midfield options or one of the attacking options. But I think, you know, I looked at the whole team as a performance, and I think he was the standout player. Like, he didn't do anything wrong in that game or create Manchester United any majorly defensive problems that made Fulham a real threat. And I think that is what really paid dividends towards this result tonight. I thought defensively, we were really strong in some stages of the match. But I think in some stages, you look at the way Fulham were getting forward through Adama Traore and Munoz and Emile Smith-Rowe, they were creating Man United problems in that back four again. And I thought we were meant to have solved this by signing YORO and DALOT. And again, we are still stuck in the past. We are still using players like Maguire, like DALOT, like Casemiro, like Rashford. I honestly thought we were meant to be moving on from the days of the dead wood and bringing in the players that are going to take Manchester United a step forward into the future under Erik ten Hag. I think Erik ten Hag is sending a strong message by not just the team selection, but I think by the standard of the performance. I think he knows that squad isn't good enough. And I think he knows he needs more reinforcements in that midfield, as well as that attack and as well as that back four. I don't think this squad is anywhere near competitive. I think we are lacking so much quality. And I think certain players in that team should not be in a Manchester United shirt. I'm really sorry. United didn't deserve those 3 points. Fulham were massively the better team. They should have come away from Old Trafford with a point. And I think Marco Silva's team have been absolutely robbed. They should have came away with a point because that was the way it was heading. And, you know, Joshua ZIRKZEE has been brought in for good money. Let's be honest here. He should have been starting. There's no excuse to be playing false nines every week, Erik. Like, we backed you to stay on as manager, and we all feel still at this current moment in game one that we do believe that you are the right manager. But playing false nines every week, it absolutely bores me to death that we are playing false nines against a team like Fulham, who are vulnerable defensively, who have lost players like Willian this summer and Tim Ream. I honestly had thought we were meant to be moving on from this. And I think today's formation and the way we set up played Fulham right into our advantage. I think Fulham really gave Man United quite a big shock on the opening day of the new season. I did not expect Fulham to be that good. And they have lost, you know, Polina as well is a massive midfield loss to Fulham. Like, losing him, he was probably Fulham's best standout player, apart from Willian as well. I think losing those two might cause Fulham a few problems this season. But going forward with Alex Iwobi, Emile Smith-Rowe, Munoz, and also can't remember his name. Going forward with those three so far, if I was a Fulham fan, even though you've suffered defeat tonight, I wouldn't be fearing that you're going to struggle this season, because I think you will score a lot of goals and you will create problems to a lot of the opposition if you play the way you did at Old Trafford tonight. I think you should come away from Old Trafford with your head massively held high, because you've gave Man United a right scare. And the problem is, I would rather take the 3 points but play shit, but I would rather dominate the game and really batter somebody instead of getting away with squeaky bum time again. We can't keep playing the way we've played tonight. I'm really sorry to say, if we keep playing like this, we are going to get picked off by the opposition one by one, because our midfield is getting run through again. Our back four is still massively weak with players like Maguire and DALOT. We've got no strikers and we're playing a false nine. We are putting Mason Mount in this team, which I still don't understand. Just because he's had an okay pre-season doesn't mean he should be starting games for Manchester United. I still don't recognise what Mason Mount was brought into this team. I'm really struggling to understand what Mason Mount was meant to be brought in for this. Like, we paid 60 million for Mason Mount from Chelsea. If we would have waited till this summer transfer window, we could have got him for free. Manchester United have made a massive mistake by some of the signings that are currently in that team. And they shouldn't be in that team. And I think because of the team Erik ten Hag went with tonight, I think that was clearly a message to Ineos, a message to Sir Jim, and I think it's a message to that board. They are going to have to fucking pull their finger out, because playing DALOT at left back, it ain't working. We need a fucking left back, People have been calling for it all season long. Malacia is still injured. Luke Shaw is still injured. And people are expecting Manchester United to be fine without a traditional left back. There are left backs on the current transfer market that are available to get. And I watched the United stand and I listened to what Mark Goldbridge has to say, and I respect him. He's a big influence for me and he's a big inspiration to get my YouTube channel to where it is today. He moans that we do need a left back, and I agree. He's absolutely right. Manchester United need to call it for how it is. Luke Shaw should not have been sent to the Euros. The Man United medical department needs to be massively, massively looked into again, because they should have not allowed Luke Shaw to even go anywhere near Gareth Southgate's England team, because England is shit anyway under Southgate. But you've also got to look at that injury record of when Malacia was brought in. We can't get forward with the ball without a left back. We can't get forward. Because Dalot's right-footed, we're expecting him to do a really good job at left back. And I'm afraid to say, if you want to keep putting Dalot at left back every week and put Mazraoui at right back, then be my guest. Because Mazraoui has fitted right in tonight. I am massively impressed. And a lot of people have moaned about the signing. Why have we signed Mazraoui? Why have we let Wan-Bissaka go? Wan-Bissaka defensively was all right, but going forward was shocking. We needed to upgrade that because we couldn't have that type of right back doing a good defensive job, but going forward can't do the job. We needed both in terms of one single player. That is why Mazraoui was brought in. And I thought, again, fantastic, fantastic signing. And for me, it's going to become a massive, massive fan favourite. But the problem is left back. The main problem in that team is left back. And isn't the only position. There's two more positions we need to talk about that Man United are going to have to improve in these next 2 weeks. We've got 2 weeks left of this transfer window. United have got to sign some more fucking players because this team going forward is not going to be enough to play 60 games a season because we've got Europa League to play every Thursday night and we're going to be playing Premier League football every Saturday or Sunday for the rest of the campaign until, or if we still remain in Europe. United have got to sanction some signings. Putting Dalot at left back is a nightmare waiting to happen. He's right-footed. He's not left-footed. And I think, again, that was clever from Erik ten Hag tonight because that is sending a clear message. I need a fucking left back. I need a left back and I need it in now. We can't be waiting any more time this week for new signings because we've done fuck all this week. We've done absolutely nothing in terms of signings. We've done fuck all, right? We haven't got UGARTE in. We haven't bought the left back. And I think we're still lacking a striker. The left back for me needs to become a priority like today, like tonight, right now. That left back position needs sorting ASAP because Dalot is going to cost you at left back. And then Dalot will be out this team. I think for me, that's a massive positive if Diego Dalot is not in this team. Because I just don't see what other people are seeing with Dalot. The problem is with Dalot, he can have one or two good performances here and there. But as a whole, can he really, really do it consecutively? Can Dalot really do it on a full-time basis? I don't think Dalot is good enough. And a lot of people know that from me. I am not a big fan of Diego Dalot. I don't rate him. He ain't good enough. And I think going forward, Manchester United need better. That was why Mazraoui was brought in. That was why Mazraoui was signed, because Ten Hag saw that opportunity to go and get a right back that is better than Wan-Bissaka and is better than Dalot. And he didn't put a foot wrong tonight. He gets my player of the match because he did not put a foot wrong. I'm really sorry to say Mazraoui is here to stay for the next 5 years because Dalot ain't going to be here forever. And then we will need that. We will then need another right back to replace Dalot. Mazraoui has absolutely put the nail on the head tonight that he is a Manchester United player to be watching because he's not doing anything wrong. Tonight, 100% effort, 100% grit, and went for everything that was thrown at him, and he did it. He did not do anything wrong in terms of creating problems for Manchester United's back four defensively. Dalot is going to be shitting himself now because he thinks to himself, I've now lost my place at right back. I've now been shifted to left back. Where the hell do I now fit in this team? Where do I fit in this team? I'm afraid to say, Diego, you're not, mate. You're not good enough. You need to move on, mate. The times of your failures are over. Mazraoui is here to take your spot. And once we get a proper left back in, you aren't going to be in this team. And Dalot's going to be shitting himself now because I didn't see anything from him tonight. I saw nothing. All I saw from him was hoof the ball long. That is all I saw from Dalot tonight. He ain't good enough here. And a lot of people saying you're being really, really negative about the result and you're really, really going in on these players because this is Fulham we're talking about. We should be absolutely spanking these. Like, no disrespect. They've lost Willian. They've lost Polina. They've got no Mitrovic. Tim Ream's gone. They've lost Adebayo for free. You're telling me Manchester United shouldn't be beating teams like Fulham convincingly. Manchester United need to be taking clubs like Fulham to the cleaners, and we're not doing it. That 1-0 win was a cry for help. That Erik ten Hag is a cry for help. Not just the bench options, but the team selection as well. That is a massive, massive sign. Erik ten Hag isn't happy. The team selection isn't good enough. But it shows that his comments, he was telling the truth. United are not ready for the season. And apparently we're 6 weeks behind schedule of fitness and work where we should be. And that is a true statement that has come out. We're not ready. And apparently we're 5 to 6 weeks behind where Man United should be. That, for me, is fucking worrying. If that is going to be the message all season, that we are not ready, get ready for an up and down season, because that was an up and down result. That was an up and down result. If Fulham would have took their opportunities and they would have had a striker that can score goals, Fulham would have won that game. Fulham would have walked away from Old Trafford with 3 points tonight. It's because they didn't take the opportunities when they got them. That is the story for me of Fulham's night. Defensively, they did really well. But in the end, when they've got about 5 or 6 minutes to go, their foot gets taken off the gas and the lapses in defence leave Man United open to score. And that is, I'm glad we made that opportunity happen in the end. But that was a long drawn 85 fucking minutes of waiting patiently for Man United to find the back of the net. We can't be doing that every week. I'm really sorry. We can't be doing that every week. And that, again, is down to the team selection and the options off the bench. And if we go through that team, we went with ONANA, DALOT, MAGUIRE, Martinez, Mazraoui, CASEMIRO, Mount, MAINOO, FERNANDES, RASHFORD and Ahmad. We can't be doing that every week. But what I'm annoyed about Erik ten Hag is he's got no balls to drop Rashford. He's got no balls to take Casemiro off, and he's got no balls to take off Fernandes. If he's got no balls to sub these players off when they're not doing their job on a consistent basis, Erik ten Hag should not be managing Manchester United Football Club. Like, I thought the days of those favouritism FC had stopped. But it's clear to show today Erik ten Hag needs help. Erik ten Hag needs players that are going to get him, that are going to get the style of football and the style of play that Erik ten Hag is desperately trying to implement in this Manchester United team. He can't do that unless he has the players available to do it. And when he hasn't got those players, Manchester United are stuck in the same ways of last season. And that, for me, that result tonight had a Wolves repeat written like last season. That result tonight has a repeat of what happened last season. We beat Wolves on the opening day through a late Varane-headed winner, and then we lost to Spurs, and then we lost to Arsenal. And Man United were already 6 points further off than where they were a few seasons ago. Like, that ain't good enough, I'm afraid. United have got lucky. There's nothing pretty about that performance. And then we talk about the midfield, and I'm hoping, before we talk about the midfield, we get this left back in. If we have to get Marcos Alonso on a free, do it. Do I want it? No, he ain't good enough. We have to either get Hermoso on a free, which is still there to do, or we have to bring Reguilon back. And Mark Goldbridge has said, I don't want any stopgap left backs being brought in the time Luke Shaw and Malacia are back. Luke Shaw's Man United career is over. He's never going to play for the club again. Let's be honest. Malacia is the same. He's never going to play for the club again. I would rather have Hermoso and Reguilon over Luke Shaw and Malacia. Luke Shaw has missed 264 games for Manchester United since he's been at this club through injury. That ain't good enough. Malacia had a worrying injury record as soon as he got here. And I'm guessing Man United didn't do their research about his injury record, because that is set in stone. That is why we're struggling, because we don't have a left back. So I think United have got to get the left back sorted tonight and over the weekend. But then we move on to that midfield. I mean, we are playing a false nine, right? And we are playing 4 midfielders behind Ahmad and Rashford. I wish someone would knock on Erik Ten Hag's head and say, Erik, you can't keep doing this week in, week out, because this is boring. Like, even though Bruno had 2 good chances in that first half to score and get the 2 goals he wanted, he didn't take them. What does that tell you about what we're doing up front? We've got no Rasmus for 6 weeks because he's done his hamstring. We are basically relying on the false 9 every week to do the job. We're relying on that until our strikers are fit. And we're basically hoping and praying with a miracle that Rasmus HOJLUND comes back injury quicker than expected. That is the whole plan for this season for the striking position. We are basically relying on their fitness to get us through this season. I am telling you now, if ZIRKZEE's not fit enough and Rasmus isn't back till the beginning of October, we are screwed. Because if ZIRKZEE's not going to be starting games, how the hell are we going to score goals? And again, we brought ZIRKZEE in to score goals, and that is exactly what he's done. And I'm really, really happy that he has scored on his debut. He's got us the winning goal. He's got us the 3 points, and we've got the win. But he should be starting. But what did it tell you about the Community Shield? He wasn't ready then. Is he not ready now? If he's scoring goals now, surely he should be ready a week on to be starting for Manchester United. If he's clearly going to be on the bench for the Brighton and the Liverpool game, we have got a big, big problem. Because without ZIRKZEE, we're playing Bruno as the false 9. We're playing him as the false striker. And we've got Rashford on the left and then Ahmad on the right. And again, that doesn't work. We need a traditional striker being put through the middle to score us some goals. Because when you take Bruno out that midfield and you have Casemiro in the CDM role and you've got Mount and MAINOO ahead of him, that ain't working. That midfield got run through again tonight. Got absolutely run through like a bullet train. Absolutely rinsed the floor with. And that is going to happen a lot until Manchester United sort this midfield out. Like, what I don't get tonight, the bench options off that bench are, massive. Massive in terms of players' futures, but massive in terms of we need to shift some of this deadwood on. So on the bench, we've got Brandy, the backup goalkeeper, DALOT, Evans, Collier, Eriksen, McTominay, Anthony, Garnacho and ZIRKZEE. The only ones that saw any game time from that team tonight was DALOT, Evans, McTominay, Garnacho and ZIRKZEE. McTominay should not have been risked tonight, and I'll tell you why. He's been linked with a move to Napoli for next season, for this season. What are Manchester United doing, trying to ruin the opportunity of trying to get rid of a deadwood midfielder that is never going to make it this club? Manchester United are massively, massively risking a sale here of McTominay when it is pure profit alone to get him out this football club and to move him on. And Man United are risking a sale of a player that Napoli under Antonio Conte are desperate for. And Man United brought him on with 5 minutes to go. Again, did absolutely fuck all in terms of the midfield balance. He shouldn't have been brought on. But when you look at the other bench options that don't get used, Eriksen is one, and so is Anthony. I think, again, there's a clear message there. Anthony is no longer wanted, and Eriksen needs to be gone. I think that is sending a strong, strong statement that Erik Ten Hag is saying, get these players on, moved on, so I can bring players in. Because the midfielder we've been after since July the 18th, we're on the 16th of August now. If we hit August the 18th on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning or Sunday evening, and UGARTE is still not here, and we still haven't got that deal agreed with PSG, that deal ain't going to happen. We are desperately needing UGARTE in that midfield because Casemiro cannot do the job anymore. I don't know how Casemiro has fallen off a cliff in his second season for the club last season, but in the third season alone, he is still making the same bloody mistakes that he did last season for Manchester United, and it's repeating itself again. That again is a message from Ten Hag saying, I need this midfielder in ASAP. United have got to get UGARTE in. No matter what it takes, no matter what it costs, get rid of him. He isn't good enough, Casemiro-wise. UGARTE is desperately trying to get himself to Manchester United, and he's trying to get his agent George Mendes to get him that move from PSG. He wants to be a Man United player. This deal needs to be wrapped up over the weekend. If it's not done by the beginning of the week, we ain't getting him. I do not want to be going into the last week of the window. Still got no UGARTE. Eriksen's still here. McTominay's still here. Casemiro's still here. Jadon Sancho, Victor Lindelof, and Hannibal Mabry and Palestri. That is 7 players alone that need to be sold before the deadline. And we've got 2 weeks to sell 7 players, get UGARTE, and get a left back. And United are going to have to start moving here. Because based on that midfield tonight, Mount isn't the answer. Casemiro is done. And the only hope we've got in that midfield is MAINOO again. I mean, the pressure he is under to make that midfield better is incredible. And you have to give Kobbie Mainoo full praise and full commitment here. He's the only one trying in that midfield. He's the only one trying. He's the only one who looks good going forward and still does his defensive job. But he also fights for every ball, fights for every tackle, and he puts his heart on the line to make sure Man United get over the finish line. He's the only midfielder doing it. And he probably knows Mount next to me ain't good enough. Casemiro behind me, he's done. Why have Man United not solved that midfield problem? Because Eriksen shouldn't be here, McTominay ain't the answer, Casemiro ain't the answer, and Hannibal Mabry's nowhere to be seen. I mean, do we have to put a search and rescue party out for him? Because at the end of the day, you look at those midfield options. Do any of those midfield options give you any excitement? Does those 4 other midfield options really give you any buzz, any excitement that those 4 players there can do a job for Man United? No, they can't. That does not get me ecstatic. That doesn't get me off my seat. That we are basically relying on MAINOO again until that midfielder is brought in. And I think United have got to do all they can to make sure UGARTE happens. And what I'm hoping they don't do is that they walk away and they go and get a Zander Berg from bloody Burnley, because apparently we are still in talks with Burnley to fucking sign Zander Berg. I don't want him at Manchester United. I don't want Man United signing fucking Zander Berg. That doesn't excite me. That doesn't get me off my seat. The number 1 priority target for that midfield is UGARTE. Man United need to get this deal done. And I'm hoping by the end of the weekend or by Monday, we have got this deal agreed and we get that here we go from Romano. Because if you slot him in that midfield is sorted. Casemiro will be benched. Mount will be benched. Eriksen won't be used. McTominay won't be here. Hannibal won't be here. And Collier, I mean, again, does that kid need to be sent out on loan? Because he didn't get any game time tonight. Again, he needs to be loaned out, I'm afraid. If he wants game time this season, he needs to be loaned to a championship club. That's the only hope Collier has got this season of seeing any first team minutes, because he ain't going to get ahead of Mount. He ain't going to get ahead of MAINOO. And he ain't going to get ahead of Casemiro. And he ain't going to get ahead of Fernandes. And I think Erik Ten Hag realises that he's not ready. I think a loan move in the best aspect of the club going forward. And again, also tonight, if you looked at that bench, we've got no left-back option. Because Amas, again, we've been told isn't ready for first-team football yet. So again, the left-back is a big, big problem. So we've got no backup left-back. We've got no CDM player on the bench. You've got to start questioning Man United's transfer policy. We've got DALOT done, Mazraoui, YORO, and ZIRKZEE. That's all we've done. 4 signings, I'm afraid, isn't fucking good enough at Manchester United, I'm afraid, because the squad has got too many holes that you are trying to paper over the cracks with again. If Man United, if Ten Hag wants UGARTE, you have got to deliver him that signing. That midfield signing will transform the midfield and will give Man United the best midfielder and the best midfield options in the Prem. It will make Manchester United a more solid foundation and a more solid outlook if you get UGARTE done. UGARTE will take Manchester United to the fucking next level. I want to tell you why I think this UGARTE deal might get done. 3 players were left out that team tonight. JADON SANCHO, not in the team, not on the bench. Victor Lindelof, not on the team, not on the bench. Hannibal Mabry, not in the team, not on the bench. Does those 3 players alone tell you a sign that those 3 are close to an exit? I think it might well do. And I tell you why I think this UGARTE deal might get done. Will Manchester United do a swap deal? We give them Sancho, they give us UGARTE. I think that's best for both parties. I think that's best for both teams. And I think it's best for both of the players, really. UGARTE wants Manchester United. Sancho wants PSG. I think there's a swap deal that can be done there without Man United having to spend any money. And then you could still sell McTominay, sell Eriksen, and sell Hannibal Mabry, and bring Amrabat back, and Rabiot, and the left back. So you might get Hermoso for free for our 5th signing, UGARTE, Amrabat, and then Rabiot. Because Casemiro then won't be here. Casemiro won't get any game time unless he's declined to the bench, because UGARTE will have the CDM role sorted. It will have that on lockdown. I think we are 1 or 2, 3 players away from Man United having a really, really solid team. But I don't trust those players because I don't think that performance was good enough. I think a lot of people are going to absolutely milk the result. I see this from a different perspective, that United are scraping the barrel again against Fulham. Like we did this against Wolves last season on the opening day of the new season. We've done it again this season, that we are scraping the barrel against Fulham. It's just a repeat of last season. I'm hoping it's not going to be that for the 2nd and the 3rd league game against Brighton and Liverpool respectively. Because if we do that, it's going to be a long season. And like I said in the title of this video, Erik ten Hag was an absolute right to make the comments he did. Because I think he knows that team's on the floor. If we're 5 or 6 weeks behind schedule, God help us. Because, you know, United aren't going to have a good season. It's going to be shit. And again, like I said, we've got Europa League and the Premier League. And you're letting Fulham come to Old Trafford and absolutely batter you. Like, you can't be letting teams like Fulham come to Old Trafford and absolutely batter the hell out of you. That should not be happening. I like my mate Josh said tonight, get the win and still play shit instead of losing or drawing. But I want better football. I want to be scoring 4, 5, 6, 7 goals every week, because that, I think, that is what it needs. We need to be putting the ball into the back of the net. And if we're not going to do that, then the problems we had last season are going to reappear this season. And then United are going to be absolutely fucking screwed again. And the problems will resurface, the cracks will appear, and then they'll turn on Erik ten Hag again. And I keep saying, I think Erik ten Hag will be sacked by Christmas, because I think we are going to have a long season playing the football we are doing. I don't recognise the style of play. We've got no attacking threat. The midfield's a joke, and the back 4 still has Maguire and DALOT in it. I'm sorry to say, the three players I feel really sorry for tonight are DALOT, ZIRKZEE and GARNACHO. They all should have been starting for Man United tonight. And I don't get why we didn't do it. And again, I think Ten Hag is massively player FC. I think he's massively favouritism towards certain players in this team. And I think, again, team selection is being dominated by the owners. It's being dominated by the board. And it's being dominated by the Glazers. Certain players need to be starting games for Manchester United because they're face for the club. They are the face of the club. They are brand exposure. Those players should be playing. If you don't select them, you're going to face the consequences. I still think behind the scenes, somebody's picking this team and it isn't Erik's team. I do believe the board are making decisions on team selection, and certain players who can't be left out have to play. That's Rashford, that's Fernandes, and that's Casemiro. Those 3 players are the face for the club, and it's completely brand exposure. And I think for me, it's wrong. I would have taken Bruno off tonight, did really fuck all, gets a new contract and produces fuck all. Rashford, again, another atrocious performance. And I'm surprised he's still here. Like, I'm not trying to pick fault. And I'm not trying to be negative. But Manchester United would be a better team without Casemiro. We would be a better team without Rashford. And I think if a big offer came in for Bruno, I would have taken it, because I did not see that captain tonight. I didn't see that new contract being deserved, I'm afraid. Because I just think, again, he's being played out of position when he's not a striker. And again, that might be a message to the board. Again, this might be clever tactics from Ten Hag to say, look, I can't do this all season with these players. I need more options. But all we've got out of the club is, for the UGARTE deal, we need to sell to buy, or PSG need to lower their demands. The left-back option isn't a priority because of the midfield crisis. Well, I'm afraid to say, you ain't just got a midfield crisis and a left-back problem. You've got a striker problem. Because if ZIRKZEE's not going to be starting, and we want Bruno back in that midfield, one of Mount's going to have to be dropped to the bench. And it will be Fernandes, MAINOO, and hopefully UGARTE. And then we're going to have to go with Ahmad, because he's the only hope we've got on that right wing. And I don't think Ahmad had a great game tonight. I don't think Ahmad really offered anything going forward. And again, I think he deserved to be dragged off. I did not see what I saw in pre-season. I didn't see the hype and the quality that he was delivering for United. And I'm afraid it's the same for Marcus Rashford. I don't understand why this manager has got no balls to drop him. And I want him to be dropped. I want Rashford out of this Manchester United team for good. I want him to be sold. He's not good enough anymore. And he makes mistakes off the pitch and then brings it forward into the team. And then you see a lot of people teaming up against the manager and creating player FC again. And Rashford's in that group. And I'm sorry to say, the one-on-one he had in the end against Leno, he should have taken that shot. And again, did anyone see how bad the actual pass was that he made to Garnacho? Did you see how bobbly the pass he made was? I don't think no one picked that up. The pass to Garnacho, who had an absolute tap-in, the pass that was made from Rashford in the first place, bobbled like the fucking Wembley's pitch. Remember how bad Wembley's pitch used to be? And the ball just to bobble like a fucking trampoline. That pass was disgusting. That was done deliberately to fuck us up and not score the second goal. The game would have been won. The game would have been completely dead then. Fulham would have lost in the end by 2 goals. But they've only lost by the odd goal. Fulham are going to go away empty-handed with no points and a defeat at the start of the new season, and they're rock bottom of the league already. But again, like I said, if you was a Fulham fan, don't have nothing to worry, because I still think you're going to have a good season. But you've really shown Man United up again, and you've got to applaud it, I'm afraid. Fulham have rarely come to Old Trafford and battered us. And it's by the odd goal. And I don't think Fulham fans should be disheartened. I don't think Fulham fans should be very worried about the season. I think you're going to be okay. Just keep playing the football you're doing and creating the opportunities you get, and maybe find another striker. Because I don't think Munoz alone is enough, really, for the attacking striker. You do need another striker, really. If you can get another midfielder in, like McTominay, will Fulham come back in for McTominay, or will he end up at Napoli? But yeah, if I was a Fulham fan, don't worry. But, in the end, United had to rely on ZIRKZEE to get the goal. And I'm happy for the lad. He scored on his debut, and it's money well spent. But he needs to be starting regularly on a regular basis. And if we do, we've got a goal scorer. We've got a striker that can cover RASMUS till he's back from injury. But then you've got to worry. If ZIRKZEE gets injured, we've then got no strikers. So are Manchester United trying to get rid of Sancho to bring a striker in? And again, the striker position, I think what we need to do in the next 2 weeks, sell McTominay, sell Eriksen, sell Hannibal, sell Casemiro, sell Sancho, Pellistri, Lindelof, loan out Collier, sign Amrabat, sign Rabiot, sign UGARTE, and bring a left back and a striker. That is the business I think we are going to have to do. We are going to have to find the money, and United are going to have to sanction these deals, because the only way this club is really truly back, if they say this is going to be a new regime, get rid of the deadwood and bring in the players Ten Hag wants, because we've already got 4. If you can add UGARTE, Amrabat, Rabiot, UGARTE, Amrabat, Rabiot, a left back and a striker, that's 9 signings in the first transfer window under Ineos, and then things can start looking up. But with only 4, people are giving this transfer window 6 or 7s out of 10. I'm only giving it a 4 because you've only brought 4 players in and you've basically sold fucking hardly anybody. So again, that squad scraped over the line on the opening day of the new Premier League season. There was nothing special about the game. I didn't really see Old Trafford that buzzing or that excitement. You could tell by the boos and the sighs of breath that went every time United gave the ball away, and every time Fulham got on the attack. You could see the anxiety, you could see the fear factor, you could see the stress, you could see the worry. And I think a lot of those United fans know, like myself, that we can't do that every week. And because if you play the better opposition, we are going to get picked off. We will get picked off badly. And I'm happy that we've had a good start. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of improvement. But I think logically, if we play like this every game, we are going to get hammered by the big 6 again. That'll be Newcastle, Tottenham, Villa, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, and Arsenal. That's 8 clubs I feel United could get picked off by, because they will add the quality they have. They will have players they want, and they'll bring in the players they need for their manager. But at Man United, we have to sell to buy, again, which is complete bullshit to cover over quite a bad result. But United have won. We've got the 3 points, but thanks to ZIRKZEE's debut goal, we've got over that line and won the game tonight. And that has to go full credit for getting that goal and being at the right place at the right time to take that opportunity that came in front of him. I honestly thought, please, can this just go in? Because I don't want to be sat here at 0-0. Because, again, I would have stuck with the title. Erik Ten Hag was right. United are not ready for the new season. And I was going to stick with this title even though we won. We're not ready. If we're 6 weeks behind, God help us in Europe. God help us against Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Spurs. Even Newcastle and Villa, they've got to be in that equation this season. That's 7 clubs alone I can name that I think United are going to struggle against. But, give ZIRKZEE the credit where credit's due. He's got his goal on his debut. I mean, I didn't expect that to happen tonight. But, we've got a striker that can score goals. But I want to see him starting. I don't want to see him on the bench like when we had no options off the bench. Because that's why we struggled last season. Is we had no strikers off the bench. We'd had no quality going forward. And again, we are still lacking in many departments. But I think this weekend has to be UGARTE, and next week has to be players out, Rabiot, a left back, and Amrabat, and a striker. United are going to have to sign 5 players in the next 2 weeks and sell about 7. It's doable if United start moving, because we can start building the squad the way we want to see it. Because I think if UGARTE comes in, which we're all praying does happen, United are going to go from there to up here. The midfield is going to transform completely. UGARTE wants to move. He wants to leave. Man United want him. PSG and Man United are constantly in contact, like Romano said yesterday. We need to get this deal done now. United need to stop messing PSG about and just pay what they want. Get the deal done. UGARTE becomes a United player. I'm just hoping it isn't a loan with an obligation to buy. That is what I do not want. I don't want any more loans. I want permanent deals. I don't want to see no loan moves. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see pathetic loan moves in the market. I want to see permanent transfers. No loans of obligations to buy, because that just sounds fucking desperate. Go to PSG, get UGARTE and build on this result, because once UGARTE is in this team, United are going to go up here. United's quality will be through the roof then, and the midfield will be fine. If you add Rabiot and you add Amrabat and you see no more McTominay, no more Eriksen, no more Mount, no more Casemiro and no more Hannibal, we've then got MAINOO, Fernandes, UGARTE, Amrabat, Rabiot. We can't go wrong. We can't go wrong. But we've won 1-0. Manchester United won Fulham 0 on the first day of the new Premier League season, thanks to a debut goal from Joshua ZIRKZEE and hopefully many more goals to come from him. So I hope you enjoyed this match reaction. Hit the like button and the share button. Please keep subscribing to this channel on YouTube, United Red Devils 20. Share the video, hit the tweet button, hit the retweet button. Remember to always remember, notification bell. You put that bell on all times. You'll receive dedicated upcoming brand new content of videos, shorts and live streams we've got planned for the rest of 2024 this year. We've got the transfer window covered right till deadline day. We've got more previews. We've got more match reactions. We've got more brand and stuff planned, which I want to get you guys more involved in on the live content as well. And obviously, it's a good start to the season. It's 3 points. We've got the win at Old Trafford that we needed, but we still need some more signings. We still need to move a lot of this deadwood players we've got at this club still. We need to move them on. And we need to, get a UGARTE, get the left back, and I think get a striker. We might just be all right. But anything can happen with Man United. And our next preview will be for the Brighton game for next Saturday. Afternoon kickoff at half 12 at the Amex. That preview will be in the early hours of Tuesday morning. So look out for that. Enjoy your Friday evening. Stay safe. Be nice. Be kind to each other. You're all legends. You're all legendary. And I'll see you on the next one. Come on, United.